Greetings for the day, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Software Suggest, my operator, and Truecaller, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar. My name is Sakshi, and I'll be your presenter for the day. So, in the upcoming 45 minutes, all three of us will take you through the journey of how building an ecosystem of trust and enterprise communication can actually prove out to be significantly helpful for your business. Before moving forward, I would like to introduce you all to the speakers of the day. I would take a moment to introduce Mr. Ankit Jain, who's the CEO and co-founder of My Operator. Along with him, joining us today is Mr. Gaurav Nayal, who's the channel business manager at Truecaller. I welcome you all humbly to the webinar today, gentlemen.
Thanks, Sakshi.
Thank you so much. And to all the great minds who are joining us today, please feel free to drop in all of your queries in the Q&A section given right below. Throughout the webinar, you can type in all of your queries and we'll be taking them towards the end of the webinar. Now I hand over this webinar to the gentleman. Over to you guys.
Sure. So, Gaurav, I'll take probably 5 minutes to introduce more about My Operator. We'll move to you.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Sure. So, hey, everyone. To start, so I'm Ankit Jain, founder My Operator. To tell you about what My Operator is, we're a cloud-based communication service provider. We help close to 10,000 businesses across India, to provide a seamless customer experience to the end consumers. We have been doing this for last 9 years, and we onboarded all major brands, across India, across sectors. The ultimate intent or the ultimate purpose why we started My Operator was to deliver, to help businesses deliver a seamless customer experience. What we realize with the changing of time, with all the technology advancement, businesses needed next generation of technology which they can use to provide consistency and a seamless experience to their customer, which delivers the trust among their customer. So we started, with a very fundamental idea that we have to enable businesses to be able to sell more, serve more. And with that, the journey continued. And today, we currently serving almost close to 10,000 brands across India. These might be ranging across industries, and so any business would typically look forward to manage their call communication or voice part of the communication, which we believe is a very strong channel for communication, because it's one of the most active form of communication. The other forms of communications are passive in nature and definitely are prominent ones as well. But when a customer need active help, active support, or when they need something to be done on a quick, it's always the voice which people relies on. That's what we're primarily managing. And over the years, we found the use cases or solutions across various sectors, across various problems that we are solving for businesses. And here we continue to grow with the changing times of COVID. The market needed something which can be consistently used even for people working from home, even people working on a hybrid model, and so on. And the consistency, the need of the consistency and trust is what we fundamentally built upon. And that's primarily about My Operator. And moving on to Gaurav.
Hey, thanks, Ankit. So very quickly, guys, I'll just take you through a bit about Truecaller. So I'm pretty sure everyone would know about Truecaller. Truecaller is like a household name now. It's an app for those of you who don't know. So Truecaller is an app which is what we call a UGC, or a user generated content app. So what it'll do is it'll take data from the users and give it back to them, basically analyze it. There is an algorithm that works in the background, which is the machine learning algorithm, and it will give you the most relevant name whenever somebody calls you and you don't have their numbers saved on your device. So Truecaller is a very helpful app, and it's solving the biggest problem that enterprises as well as users are facing today, the problem of spam calls and scams that are plaguing the market. I'm sure if you're living in India, you would know that there are so many scams happening, right? And these scams will loot you for your money, right? It'll give you a big dent on in your bank account. Also, there could be instances of plagiarizing your identity. There's identity theft that happens. So there are multiple things that can go wrong if you pick that one call which you're not supposed to pick. If there's somebody out there who's just fishing for a scam, so you have to look out for yourself, and Truecaller helps you do that. It makes things very easy. So we have close to 500 million app installs, and this is talking about app installs which so if we even count the ones that have installed and then post that what do you call if they have deinstalled, or sorry, that word just skipped my head, but uh, so 500 million app installs, and then we have 300 million plus monthly active users across the globe. India is our biggest market. So Truecaller was incepted in Sweden. So it's born in Sweden, but then the heart is in India. So it has more than 300 million plus monthly active users. And if we talk about daily active users, they would be somewhere in the range of 200 million plus in India alone, right? So there's a big user base that is using Truecaller today. And if you're making around 100 calls as an enterprise, as a business, chances are that almost 50 to 60% of those calls at the very least would be landing on a device which has the Truecaller app installed. And chances are that the person who's receiving the call would already know or have a vague idea of somebody who's calling them. Because as I said, Truecaller is a user-generated content app. It'll take data from the users. And of course, we cannot really rely on that user data, especially when it comes to businesses. People will write all sorts of names. If they get annoyed, they'll write weird names. And if even if the company name is written intact, maybe the spelling mistake is there. There is some or the other challenge. So because of these problems that are there in the market as of now, what we did was we basically created the verified business solution. And just to quickly jump onto it, this is what the solution looks like. I'll just take another minute to give you an idea of what it is. So if you look at this blue screen, this is in a normal scenario what the machine learning algorithm coming into the picture and giving the name as the users have suggested. So here we see the name Centro written, right? We have taken a fictitious company name called Centro Bank. So here we see the name Centro. And then if you become a verified business, if you onboard onto a solution, what we'll do is we'll take your number and then we'll assign the right identity to it, which would typically be your company name or your brand name. And that is the label name that you can see here. Along with it, there would be a logo that would be assigned, and the words verified business written here on a green badge, which of course gives a positive reassurance to the Truecaller users to pick this call. And there is a business category along with this white dialog box that you see. This is called call reasons. So you can set up to 50 characters as the reason for a call. Why are you calling your end customers? And this would just set a context to the call and help in improving customer confidence and picking these calls. We also have a lot of other features. I'll get into those later throughout the discussion. But yeah, all in all, this solution would make it absolutely tamper proof for Truecaller users to make any changes or edits to your brand name, to your company name, once you have logged this identity with us, right? So this is the solution in general, and we'll go forward talking about how working with my operator, how we have seen this helping the enterprises in today's state. Yeah, over to you guys.
Thank you, Gaurav. Ankit, you may take the lead, please.
Sure. So I thought there are some questions that we need to answer.
Yes. So because we ran a few email campaigns and on social media, we received multiple queries. So I'll just quickly ask all those questions, and you guys please be kind enough to answer them for us. So the
Sure.
first question is that what are the key challenges that enterprises are facing in the new world?
Sure. So I'll pick up this word, the new world, because definitely we have been talking about this a lot after COVID, and there's definitely a new world after COVID. The biggest change that we see in workplaces, the workspaces are, the hybrid culture kicking in, and after work from home, probably this is the new normal where everybody's talking about a hybrid setup where certain of the team members are working from home and certain are working from office, and you may choose to do that based on your availability, etc. Now, as a workspace, as an organization, you need a system which works consistently between office and home, and that's where a system like my operator comes in place, where you are able to manage those kind of inconsistency through a system, and at the end deliver the same consistency to your customer. So you, as an organization, you won't want your customer to probably feel that these teams are sitting at home or maybe not professional. You want them to have a seamless experience. So
Right.
this is the biggest change that we are dealing with right now. That how do we deliver through our businesses a seamless customer experience to the end customers? And if one thing that plays a very important role is the technology at the end of the day, because that bridges the gap between the home and the workspace, and that's what the ultimate focus as my operator has been. How do we deliver a similar consistent experience across working environments, across different kind of setups, across different kind of sizes. So businesses typically with maybe thousands of people working there, or businesses maybe just hundreds of people, are both entitled democratically to deliver a same or a consistent customer experience. And that's one of the biggest change that we see in the current time, and that's what we as an organization are prepared to, and we probably are driving it, that those sort of behavior among enterprises, that it doesn't matter where your team decides or your team have to be present. It ultimately, you need to choose the right kind of tool to be able to deliver that kind of customer experience, and that's a whole journey what we have been doing ever since covid started, or COVID ended probably.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Gaurav, how is your product helping solve this particular issue for the people?
So yeah, as Ankit rightly mentioned, this new age situation that we are dealing in now, like there is a lot of flexibility, there is a lot of along with flexibility comes uncertainty, comes bit of a lag in terms of ensuring that the right measures are in place which ensure that the end customer and the business, there is a good amount of trust that we are able to maintain and we are able to harbor in between. So I think that's the crux of today's situation that we're in. That trust factor is missing, right? For enterprises, it may be the trust between their employees and the management. For the users or the end users, the end customers, there could be a trust deficit between understanding who's calling them and whether or not it's a right person. So let me just give you an example. So there would be people, right, who receive calls from credit card departments, collection agencies, basically. And these are not bad actors. They want to pay back, but today they're uncertain. If they're getting a call, maybe it's a scamster, maybe it's somebody who'll just forward them a wrong link and they'll send the money somewhere else. Everyone is not as educated, as tech savvy as a few of us. So what happens is there are people out there who are trying to fish for these people, fish for these such victims. And it's a big industry. It's $1 billion industry. There have been researches done by Harvard and Stanford, and they've come out with the numbers. It's a big $1 billion industry, right? So the scam industry. So we are not talking about small people here and there who have these small groups. There are call centers dedicated to this. There are buildings, and these people are just out there, and they're doing things very professionally, very systematically, and they will catch a hold of you today or tomorrow. They will do that. So what this leaves us with is a big trust deficit, and people who actually want to pay back to these companies, they are not able to do so. Companies which want to connect with these people, they are being rejected, they are being, doubted. So herein, I would talk about the solution that Truecaller is pitching. So it would help consumers identify these end users, identify these bad actors. And then sometimes, what happens is few of the genuine companies also get caught in the middle, right? Because Truecaller is a user generated
Makes
content app,
sense,
right?
right.
As I've said, you would write a name there, right? For maybe if somebody had a bad experience when they received a phone call, they would say that, this is person X, this is a scamster. Maybe it was a genuine company.
People are quite creative in those days.
Yes.
I agree.
So what happens is people would write those names, and then a genuine company gets caught in the middle. So that's where assigning the right identity, the right brand name, along with the logo, giving it a color coding that makes it instantly recognizable by the end users. That is something that we have created with Verified Business. That is what we, along with partners such as My Operator, we work hand in hand to educate these businesses, and then these businesses go ahead and they educate their own end customers. So we do a customer advocacy program wherein even our marketing team, our in-house marketing team and business outreach team, they will work that we've onboarded, and then they would create a sort of a campaign where they would educate their end customers that, hey, if you receive a call from, let's say, XYZ bank, or let's say HDFC Bank, if you receive a call, only pick those calls where you see the words Verified Business mentioned. Only ensure that there is a green badge there. Don't pick any other calls, we are not liable for that. So this way, what they're doing is they're protecting their end customers from any of these scams that might happen, and also they're protecting their own identity, right, from being misrepresented, or from being tarnished. So the image is protected, customers are also happy. It's a win-win situation. It's good for Truecaller, it's good for My Operator. So I think that's sort of the view that I have currently of being working in Truecaller for the past 1.5 years. This is what I've experienced, is what's happening these
Thank
days.
you so much, Gaurav and Ankit, for taking us through that. And as an extension to this particular question only, I would like to ask that how does the integration of My Operator with Truecaller, what benefits does it put forward? What value does it bring to the table for the audiences who are joining us today?
So I'll pick this. So I'll probably start with with one incident that we actually remember very closely. So there was, with one of our customer, and it was a leading brand, with one of our customer. Uh, so their customer, the end consumer, were getting certain calls from, somebody who was pretending to be this customer, and this client of ours, and they used to build a trust by just calling and saying, we are calling from this company support team, and there is some account issue of yours which has happened. We want to reset it, so can you share the OTP? And this company got to know after there were like certain numbers of incidents already happened. And this company came to us, and this company probably said, how do we really solve this? We're using your system, but this probably some guys, and calling our consumers, and probably randomly picking up consumers, and doing the social fraud with them. And this was a real problem with us as well, because we really want to deliver that kind of consistency and trust on the our businesses who are using My Operator to the consumer. And this is where we probably started talking to Truecaller as well, that how do we solve this problem? We're building trust by building consistency in the process of system for the business, but how do we connect the end mile? And that's what the Truecaller probably is leading at. They have a huge network of consumers, and they have this trust thing. People trust Truecaller. When you get probably notification, who's calling. You always trust the data, whatever user generated, but you end up you end up having a strong trust with Truecaller. So that's where, we probably integrated a couple of customers initially to start and understand how to solve. And we realized it's a huge impact to the end consumer, because now they surely know if this is the right company or some fraudster trying to do me. And the company then used to probably narrate or communicate to their customers that, look, only if we have the green badge, you be assured this is a call coming from, our platform and, through Truecaller. And to answer the second part of the question, so integration is probably just it's no capital intensive, it's no integration intensive, it's no technical thing, so we probably just have an integration where you're just able to whitelist certain numbers and identify you, and done. So we already do the KYC for our customers to be able to verify that, so the whole process becomes much easier. Now this whole, from onboarding, by making onboarding easier and then delivering that trust to the last mile, is where the joint value drives. So now imagine, this kind of thing potentially happening to thousands of businesses and consumers around. And now, when my operator, integrates with Truecaller, we deliver that kind of strong trust among consumers from the business perspective as well. Now they know whom to trust, which call, to really believe in, as a real company's call, or, some fraudster call. Now this, this whole integration just takes the time, which also is a huge advantage, because now businesses really do not have to go through another long process or maybe integration of the systems, which might, become counterintuitive or costly in terms of, implementation. But now the kind of implementation it is, it's easy to maintain, it's quick to be done, and it delivers what it's supposed to be at the end, trust.
And it's quite seamless also, from what I'm able to understand out of the entire
Absolutely.
equation. It's quite seamless, and we live in a world currently wherein brand is everything. So everything that we are doing, each and every business initiative is towards brand building. So if irrespective of how much money are we putting in the digital front, if people are receiving scam calls with the brand's name, it's not going to make a difference. I completely agree on that part. Shall we move to the next question?
Yeah. So before we move, just one thing to add, and to all the viewers here. So I'm pretty sure, some of the call that you've received in last, say, week of time, where you have seen that green badge, coming in, verifying the account. So it would be like a joint effort done by both, my operator and Truecaller, and you would have received one call, from my operator, Truecaller combined, where you're actually told that this is a verified customer. And that's the kind of trust, that we're building in market.
Right. Thank you so much for explaining that, Ankit. Gaurav, the next question is for Truecaller. In a world where there is a communication overflow, how can brand communication stand out?
Right. That's an interesting question, right? Because, see, I have a few stats that I would like to throw around right now. So today, almost 9 out of 10 businesses, they are vying for customer attention via the medium of calls. So they're using telephonic communication to reach out to customers. Almost 9 out of 10. So 90% of businesses today are trying to do that. Then if we talk about the customer side, almost 70% of these calls are being rejected or missed by the end customers. So there is a big gap, right? There's a big trust deficit. 90% of businesses trying to reach out to customers via telephonic communication, you can only understand what sort of noise, what sort of clutter it creates in the minds of the end consumers. Today, I receive multiple calls. Actually, I don't receive. I use Truecaller, so I'm able to, manage that very well.
A very smart positioning.
Yeah. So that is there. I'm able to, stay away from all of that. But most of the consumers still aren't able to, enjoy those benefits. Maybe they're not that keen on the features. They are not that aware. So what ends up happening is one consumer is bombarded by multiple calls from multiple businesses selling multiple products. There is no direction. There is no, sort of a strategy behind these businesses. They will just bombard everyone with these calls. So today, if you're a business, from the business's point of view, if you're a genuine business trying to sell a genuine product, trying to reach out to those, that particular end customer who will actually go ahead and buy your product, you're not able to, right? You need something to stand out. And that is where, we have created certain features and certain advanced features, if I may put it in, in the right terminology that we've used. So these advanced features would definitely make you stand out from the crowd. So just to give you an idea, I'm talking about things like call me back, right? So this is one feature where we are actually closing the communication loop, closing the feedback loop. So today, if a business is reaching out to the customers and 70% of those calls are rejected, right? So I call you 10 times and 7 out of 10 times you don't pick my call. Or let's say if I call 10 people, 7 of those people don't pick my call, right? But they could be potential buyers or potential consumers.
Right.
So with this particular feature, call me back, if I have that enabled, and let's say there was a genuine end customer who was actually interested, but he was stuck in a meeting, maybe driving, right, or anything. So he can go ahead and and uh, press this button called call me back, and this would trigger a callback request on the Truecaller dashboard for that particular business. So tomorrow, when this business will go to the dashboard, they can see a list of phone numbers, right, who have requested a callback from this particular business, and then they can prioritize calling those set of customers the next day, and they can expect a good amount of conversion in terms of the calls getting picked. So that is one feature where, for people who have not even picked your call, you are some way communicating with them, right?
Right.
Today, businesses are not able to do that. There is no, I'm not sure I'm aware of any other solution which would enable you as a business to reach out to customers who have stopped picking up your calls. So this is call me back. Then we have something, an early access program called call feedback or call surveys. So this is your typical, whenever, let's say you're talking to a customer support agent, the call ends, right? They would say that, just please go through with the survey to the end, towards the end of the, rate me, give me a rating, rate this call. So most of the times the customers would drop off, right? Their work is done. They won't wait for the IVR to go ahead and then, speak. And then it would say, rate me on 1 to 5, and then they press the button. So it takes a lot of time. Brings us again to the point, customer attention, right? There's a big deficit. People are watching reels and whatnot, right? Nobody has that attention span now. So they're not going to wait another 5-10 seconds, right? It's a long time, 10 seconds. They're not going to wait and then go through with the survey on IVR. So that's why industry is seeing a lot of drop in the survey, counts. So what happens with this solution that we propose which is call feedback and call ratings. As soon as the call ends, you can immediately, give a rating to your to that agent, to that business, and that rating would be populated on the Truecaller dashboard. Customer gets an access to it. They can pull out the reports. They can also ask questions, right? It's not just a rating 1 to 5 or a 5-star rating sort of a thing. They can ask questions like maybe they can ask, is this call relevant to you? Are you interested in any of my products? And they can name out those products, right? So when the call ends, the customers can answer those questions. So it becomes a sort of a complimentary survey that they get to do with all their consumers. So now people who are not even picking the call, they can also give their inputs. Maybe let's say you have a lot of people that you're calling, but who are not answering even after repeated multiple attempts. So we call them dead leads, right? So dead leads are very dangerous. You don't want to spend a lot of time and money behind calling dead leads again and again, right? It's a big wastage. So now if you ask a pertinent question like, is this call relevant to you? Would you like to stop receiving these calls? Maybe you start getting these inputs back from these dead leads, right? And that will help you channelize your efforts in a better direction, in a more positive manner, in a more optimum manner.
Makes sense.
When we talk about return on investment, this is what we mean, right? It's not just about how many calls get picked, but it's also about, if you are spending your efforts in the right direction, if you're creating a good lead efficiency system, which leads to good return on investment. I'm sorry, I digressed a bit from the question that you asked, but
That's
it's all interconnected. So yeah, so we have a lot of differentiating factors. So I spoke about call me back, call feedback. We also have video caller ID, right? It's like a new sort of feature which would the marketing folks would be a lot interested in this. So you have startups, right? They would pay an amount of, like, they would pay loads and loads of money to set up an ad, to talk to an influencer, to get their product displayed here and there.
Right.
But we have something which is so less expensive, where every time they call a Truecaller user, a video can play in the background, right? And these are like lightweight videos, sort of GIF files, and you can promote your product, you can promote your company there. I think it's an absolute.
This is on the app itself?
Yes, this is on the Truecaller app.
Okay.
If I may, I can just give you a quick gist of it. If this thing is visible, I can just, see this is something, it would look something like this, playing in the background.
Okay, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So when you call the end customer, a video like this would play, and you can just basically promote your product.
So does this video come with the CTA as well, so that the user can take some action over there and get in touch?
So if you talk about call to action, then that's a different department for Truecaller, because most of our, I think the biggest revenue generating business for us is ads, right? So ads takes care of that. But
okay, so this is just a business promotion kind of a thing.
Yeah, this is, but yeah, of course, a call to action would also be enabled on this. I think
that would be a more sensible thing to do, to actually capture the data over there.
But then again, this call is actually a call. It's not an ad which is playing in the background, right? This is a call. If the person is interested, he likes this, he can pick the call and start talking to the customer support agent. Okay. It's a call to action in itself. It's an actual call that is coming.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so this is another interesting feature. This comes complementary with the verified business service that we provide. There's no additional cost. We have separate plans. This is part of the middle plan, advanced plan. So there's nothing additional you pay. It's just part of these plans that we offer. Okay. So I think these are the features that would definitely make you stand out in the crowd. This was call me back, just a visual representation. It's just you press this button, call me back. Your number is sent to the business. I'm talking from the customer's point of view. You can think from the business's point of view, how helpful this is going to be. This is feedback, right? Once the call ends, you can just basically rate, right? This is an early access program. So these are mostly the features. We'll be coming up with a lot more things. Call reason was also one of those things which I think I spoke about initially. This is a very generic, you just set a reason for the call. Why are you calling the end customer? So the customer can see, okay, this is the reason, he can pick that call. He can decide whether or not to pick it. The context is already set. And think about it, right? Even if the guy doesn't pick the call, your message is already sent. It doesn't matter if he picks or not. So it's a very nifty new way to communicate with your end customers. And new is something we should be striving towards, because what you already said, right? A lot of noise in the market, and it's imperative for businesses to stand out. So Truecaller is helping, in this direction with all of these features.
I agree, Gaurav. Thank you. And just as an extension to this, you mentioned that the rating part and the feedback thing is customizable. So are the other features customizable as well? Like when the user sends in the message, or the other feature that you mentioned. So is there a particular scope of customization there as well?
Yeah, so I think everything is customizable. It's just a question of when. So currently with Call Me Back, we just have the option of enabling a callback. So requesting a callback. And then the business can decide when to call them back. Tomorrow we'll be bringing in the date and time the customer can set themselves. That Call Me Back, right? And that gets linked to an API, and immediately that number gets populated to the top of the dialer list for the business making that call. So it becomes automated. That is in phase 2. So we are a very young business unit that has just started, Truecaller Enterprise, right? We just came about this as an accident, almost, like that this is something that businesses want. So we were out there looking out for the interest of the end users, right? We were
Right.
totally against people harassing our user community with unnecessary calls throughout the day. So we were kind of there, but then we
Right.
saw that a lot of genuine good businesses are not able to reach out to customers. That's when we created the solution. The solution is, it's not that old. It's like a couple of years when it's actually started working out, and we've gone to market in the last couple of years. So the partner business started just last year, and we made good strides. We have good partners like my operator helping us reach out to more and more of their customers. And the best part is this creates a synergy between the solution that partners like my operator, they already offer to their customers.
Right.
And all in all, the businesses are the ones which enjoy this benefit the most.
Makes a lot of sense, Gaurav. Thank you. The next question is for my operator, Ankit, so I'm directing this one towards you. Uh, One of our users wanted to know the role that voice-based communication plays in India, and what are the other channels that are important for businesses operating within the periphery of India.
Sure. So I'll start with what are the channels for business. So there are like n number of channels available to business. Some prominent can be chat, social media, emails, etc.
Mhm.
And then how much important voice is. So understand from this perspective, voice is the most active form of communication, which is
Agreed.
happening here. You know and all the rest form, it's fine for the passive communication, but you need active support. When you need active touch base with a client, with a customer, you switch on to voice. And that's what make voice very very important as a communication channel. Now India has still a higher affinity towards voice, something which we'll observe in India, and probably not in a similar way in the different counterparts. So you see, every probably billboard will have a phone number surely here. You see every advertisement will have a phone number here, which means both brands and consumers are really willing to connect their consumers, or their the whole transaction over a voice call. This is because India has been as a culture, we have been always around talking and communicating directly, and that's what changed the whole ecosystem very differently. And I think that's also potentially one of the reason why Truecaller became so evident in India. I don't know, but I'm just throwing it up. But we really believe India is a very large market from a voice perspective, and hence businesses need to take it seriously. There are certain businesses we meet. They say we probably do not want to pick up voice, or voice maybe not the active or the first medium. But then when we always ask them to switch on to voice, switch on to a platform like my operator, we're able to do the voice communication nicely. Just it'll take you just quick maybe 10 minutes to configure the whole system and a full pledge booking account. And you do that in 10 minutes, you invest your 10 minutes, and then you're ready to actually focus on the customer delight part. And that's what the change the whole game. We as a company always focused on democratizing this as much as we can, and really building a solution which can be used by businesses at different size, and businesses of different industries, businesses of different natures, to be able to use the system as a a very core of their whole communication piece. And we still continue to see voice, definitely voice even changing forms. So right now when we're talking voice, it's just call, but voice going to change form in multiple phase. And but it's always going to be a very important channel.
Of course. And the thing that you mentioned about numbers and voice conversations leading the way people like to communicate in India, I think that a great aspect to it might be that once you pick up the phone and you hear someone's voice, it humanizes the entire process,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So I think that is might be the reason why people still prefer to do that.
Absolutely. So we always believe that voice is the most human way of communication.
Of course.
When you're communicating with someone, you do not really love to text. So for example, you sitting me in front, and we would not say that text each other. We'll always love to talk, and that's at the
Right.
very center of it. the voice came with a lot of challenges as well, as a market, we saw challenges in tools managing it. We saw, challenges in trust to the end consumer because of all the fraud thing happening. So,
Right.
as a company, as both, Truecaller and my operator, we're trying to bridge one part of it. We're trying to bridge this whole ecosystem. So at the end, this become like a real customer delight channel for businesses.
Makes so much sense, Ankit. Thank you for emphasizing on that one. The next question is that how does the My Operator and Truecaller partnership actually help the businesses that are in India?
Should I take it, Ankit, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we've like pretty much. I think this question is going to be a bit redundant in the sense that we've kind of covered most of it. So my operator part, I'd let Ankit talk about it more. Truecaller part, I think more or less I've covered. Just something which I think I hadn't covered which is something which is very important and crucial for businesses is the analytics part, the data driven approach that we have. We provide a dashboard, a Truecaller dashboard, where once you have an access to that, once you onboard with us, it takes around 1 working day to actually get onboarded, because there is no API integration or such happening. It's a very simple, you send us a list of numbers that you want to get the service activated on. You reach out to partners such as My Operator, give them a list of numbers. And it doesn't matter if My Operator owns your numbers. It could be some other operator. Maybe they could be your own numbers. They have to be business numbers, no doubt. And then once you give that list of numbers, and you tell us this is the identity that we want against those numbers, we'll take around, I think, one working day, working day to get this onboarded, right? And as soon as you get onboarded onto the platform, I won't bore you with the details, but I just wanted to show you the sort of dashboard that you'll get an access to, right? So this is the dashboard, right? And these are all the different data points that are captured here. And there are multiple filters that you can filter this by. So you get a summary of what has been your performance in the last 7 days, how many calls you've made, what has been the call pickup rates, and by unique users, and what is your average call duration, so on and so forth. You get multiple charts. I mean, I can get into the details, but it'll be quite lengthy. We can always schedule a call later and take you through this dashboard in detail to our prospects, to our businesses that would be interested post this webinar, right? And then all these charts are here, right? You get user segmentation and the sort of insights that you can derive out of this, right? That in itself is, I mean, there is no amount of money that can justify this, right?
Of course, it's a great way to derive insights and just make decisions thereafter that are actually helpful for the business.
Absolutely, and you can optimize your calling to such a degree, it becomes so efficient, and you are able to target to the right people and just make informed decisions. And along with, there is these are analytics totally on the Truecaller front. So let's say if you make 100 calls, 50 would land on Truecaller. This is for those 50 calls. Remaining 50 calls, or let's say the overall experience, overall analytics would be provided by My Operator. They also have their own analytics tool. I think I'll let Ankit take over that part. Just wanted to give you an idea. Just wanted to give you a look and feel of this particular dashboard. Right. So this is mostly it. We have a couple more pages here, but then again, so I think I covered most of it, but just to give you one last view. Yeah. This would give you a quick glance of how many numbers are there, which are active or not. Right. And I think mostly that was it. So yeah,
this table. Is there any capping, Gaurav, to the number of, to the extent of numbers that can be added?
Yeah, so it depends on the plan that you're procuring, right? So the starter plan, you can add up to 50 numbers, and then going forward, there's an advanced plan, you can add up to 250 numbers. For that, we have the enterprise plan for our enterprises. You can add as many numbers as you want there, right? There are different commercials attached to those plans. And there are, advanced features also available, which I spoke about, call me back, call feedback, and
Right.
it's already available from the advanced, the middle pack onwards. I mean, for anyone who's interested, we can always, have a schedule a call, post that, and speak more in detail. But yeah, all in all, trust me, even I had a startup few years back, so I understand the, sort of, amount of money that it takes for you to get heard in the market. And if I were aware of, this solution, or if this solution was already there back then, I'm pretty sure I would have made good use of it. And it would have been really, really beneficial. The cost benefit analysis is through the roof. If you really think about it, what sort of activities you can carry out with this. There's a good user base here. You're closing the feedback loop. Nobody else is going to close that for you. You're getting all sorts of insights.
Absolutely.
And, tagged along with the solution that my operator provides, it'll just give you a complete holistic picture of what's happening in terms of your calling. So yeah, that's something really, really useful and beneficial for businesses that is being provided.
That
Ankit,
actually sounds
yeah.
well, Gaurav. Thank you.
Ankit, you want to talk about your analytics part, like what all the holistic?
Yes, please share those insights as well.
Yep. So I'll just take 2 minutes to do that. I'll not show the dashboards, etc. So, as a voice channel, we provide probably every analytics that possibly you need in a voice communication, or any customer support communication. So, and I'll particularly be talking about how does Truecaller integration helps and helps businesses. So in a very short, your pickup rate is gonna go high. Now, when the end consumer is gonna trust the call that is coming in, it's trust the identity, it trusts the company because of consistency they have been able to deliver. It's gonna pick up. And if you see this cost, this conversion rate, or probably what you say, the pickup rate increase, that directly converts into the time it saves. And the time it saves is the time it saves in a business. It's like directly the money. So that's the end. That's a not I would say end, but that's one of the very core fundamental or very core ROI that it delivers. Both my operator and my Truecaller integration delivers. My operator on the front focuses on telling you about, in general, what's the pickup rate among customers, what kind of team performs better than the other team, who's the top performing agent, who's a probably agent you need to work upon, even mixed with call reasons, etc. What kind of calls get picked up more. So
Right.
there are n number of things that you're able to do in terms of analytics, in terms of solutioning that you deliver to businesses, combine Truecaller and my operator.
Right. So basically, what I'm able to understand out of it is that my operator doesn't just offer insights or analytics pertaining to calls, but on the lines of productivity as well.
Yeah. So
that can be really helpful for managers and businesses alike.
Absolutely. Just one thing, which we launched as a pilot very recently is what we call emotion detection. So now imagine, you as a business, you're able to identify calls that probably, need to be looked at, need to be audited because something, unpleasant happened over that call. That's done by analyzing, various factors, and tells you that this was an angry call, this was a, pleasant call, this call started good and ended, with a bad note, etc. So
that's so
these
interesting
are
because
Yep,
there are
this is
so
the
many
direction.
times that such things actually happen.
Oh yeah. To identify few calls by doing a 5% or 10% quality check only. But then when you have such analytics available in terms of AI, etc., you're able to probably cover 100% of it, and just probably have a very little QA requirement to audit only these calls, which is already flagged.
Right. Makes so much sense.
And I would
yes,
like to
please.
I would just like to add that just think about the experience and the number of clients that my operator would have serviced till date, right? Just think about that.
Right.
The sheer data that they've gone through and how that data has helped a particular business. So the sort of analysis that you have to do, there are multiple things that come up when you speak to businesses. Even if you do one single analysis, you'll come across multiple points, multiple new insights. Then just think about going through list of such companies Then think about the sort of industry bifurcation that happens. There would be separate tricks and tips for, let's say, a BFSI segment, separate for, let's say, an e-commerce. So all that specialization also starts to get into the picture. You want to talk about that, Ankit, the specialization part? For
Absolutely. So it's just, I think, we're constrained the time. It's already, we close the time.
yeah.
Sakshi, how much time we have?
We still have about 15 minutes more to go.
Okay, sure. So I'll probably be able to take it. See, as a part of the whole process, a part of the customer success now, we always use these data, the industry-wise data, the industry-wise practice, and always help businesses back by kind of doing consulting around it. That what do you need to do to ensure your system is experienced in the best of the way. It's like, are you using this? Your processes are designed as a standard practice, as a practice which have been tried and tested among different businesses, etc. And then we kind of pull out these data from industry specific and give them the benchmarks. Look, this is the benchmark among, say, for example, e-commerce. This is the benchmark among real estate, and then you probably need to compare yourself from the benchmark. Where do we need to work upon, etc. And these kind of segmentation, these kind of so think about it. We process like literally a million call a day. And then in a million call that you are able to do across industries, you're able to identify common mistakes that probably companies do, the common success that companies make, and able to use that data to probably educate other customers as well.
Makes a lot of sense, Ankit. Thank you. Along with this, we move to the next question, which is also for you, Ankit.
Sure.
One of our registrants asked us that what kind of infrastructure or technical investment does a business need to deploy such an integrated solution?
Sure. Literally nothing, so that's the answer, in simple. There's literally no technical capabilities needed. There is no infrastructure need to be deployed. Both the system, worked on a cloud space. So to set up a My Operator account, you just need a 15 minutes of time, do the KYC, do the configure, etc., and done. If you need a more complex setup, you need to go into configurational part of it, which might take, say, a day or two, depending upon how complex your requirement is. Typically, most of the integrations like Truecaller are like one-click integration. You practically do not need to do a lot of things. Even certain complex CRM integrations have been like inbuilt, and you just take a click to be able to do that. So that whole thing makes it like zero capital investment. And as a My Operator also, if you have to say scale up or down someday, God forbid, during the time of COVID, we saw a lot of businesses wanted to scale down for a month or so. And now when the business are picking up again, they really want to scale up quickly. So those kind of capabilities are really based on a cloud provider. And if you choose, a nice or a consistent, cloud provider, you are able to do that pretty instantly. And that's what we deliver as a business. And that's what, whole meant as a consistency. When I said we have to deliver, that kind of consistency, that's where the consistency part comes in.
That's actually really very interesting, Ankit, that you brought it up. It's not just that you make it easy for a business to onboard, but even the exit part is kept very easy, so that when such situations come up, like we experienced COVID, it's not like the customer is caught and it's not able to get out. That's, I think, it's very, very useful. And yeah, of course, with Truecaller as well, you can obviously it's very simple. If you want to unsubscribe, you can do that. We have a quarterly billing system. You want to just move out, give us an email, that's it. So yeah, I think that's also a very crucial point, getting out, the exit strategy, right? Yeah.
I agree. And these pointers combined, like the need to not have an infrastructure just takes the convenience through the roof, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And we have just one more question from social media, and after that we can move to the Q&A for this particular webinar. The last question is a bit generic, so both of you may answer that. And that is, what will be the one tip that you would like to give to the startups that are setting up their own customer communication practice or system?
Okay, I'll give one tip from my side. Use Truecaller for a verified caller ID, okay? And not just being a sales guy here, being an honest person, like very honestly speaking, I had a startup a few years back. If this solution was available back then, I would have definitely made use of video caller ID. If not anything else, I would have, just gone ahead and got my numbers verified, and then I would have created a short video clip, and I would have made complete use of this. It's so cheap right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. Tomorrow we might, there might be an additional cost over and above that, right? It's an early access program, so of course things are really, toned down, very cheap. But if you're a startup out there, you want to make, good use of marketing programs, and you don't want to shell a lot of money, then please go ahead and try out this video caller ID feature. For a couple of months, for 3 months, 2-3 months. Yeah, just see it for yourself. What sort of returns it brings you, what sort of brand visibility you get. Right? We have a good user base. Again, yeah, this would be the tip from my side.
Thank you, Gaurav. Your thoughts, Ankit?
Yep. So I'm pretty aligned to even what Gaurav said, and we'll take it in larger picture. So it's actually when you're designing your systems or processes, focus on two things: choose systems which are consistent and focus on building that trust.
Absolutely.
That's what at the end you need to do.
Right. Thank you so much, guys. So those were the questions that we had, and now let's move to the Q&A that the people have checked. The first question is from Mr. Batri, and he is asking that they have multiple accounts, and should they buy multiple Truecaller accounts for each of the accounts that they already have?
So if you have one parent company and the other brands are part of that umbrella, you don't need to do that. You can just give us a letter saying that these brands belong to this particular parent company, and then we can have them all listed under one account. Not a problem at all.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Guys, do we have any other questions? The audience, please, if you have any questions, feel free to type those in the Q&A section, and we'd love to take them up. In the meantime, as the people might be sending in their queries, is there anything else that you would like to add to the discussion that we already had?
You're asking us if you want to ask?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ankit, you want to talk about something?
Sure. So, yeah, I'm just thinking in any important part that we missed during the discussion. Though not to answer, but something, Gaurav, I would love to ask, how do you see, this movie, like say, called Jam Tara, the season, these really impacting the customers, understand the need of it, understanding the need of Truecaller.
Yeah,
That's such an apt use case, Ankit, to
Yeah,
provide.
absolutely.
It is.
It is a big industry. You won't
Oh, yeah.
believe. And since it's like a black market sort of, we can't get the exact figures, but the latest I got to know was it's somewhere in to the tune of like $8 to $10 billion right now, and it's constantly going. The scam industry.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. See, we've been closely working on this, and the reason why we really wanted to be partner to Truecaller, because we know this is such a huge problem, not just for consumer, but also for businesses and also for service provider like us.
Right.
We all can grow in an environment where there is a huge trust or a connect, between, all the stakeholders. Till the time that's not present, it's always a challenge to, grow the business for everybody.
I agree. Let's just wait for one more minute, just in case anyone sends in their query. Also, as we are on the topic of discussing it, what does the future road a few months or years down the line look for this thing? Like, are there any innovations in the product or the industry that are coming up that you'd like to emphasize upon?
So yeah, Truecaller is working on innovations. We have, like, I'm sitting in office right now. We have a product team here constantly. They are innovating. I know a few things that are there down the line. So what all features that we just discussed, right? Call me back, call feedback, these are going to get more and more intelligent to the point where for a business, it would make complete sense to use them to figure out the customer mindset, to understand how to reach out to the right customer at the right time, right? So things like that, data driven, really intelligent calling that you can make through Truecaller. So that is going to happen. A lot of products and a lot of upgrades to the existing features that are being worked upon by our team right now. That's going to happen. And for example, just to give an idea, so today we have call reason that you can set for one number, right? And you can say that this is the reason why you're calling the end customer. So you set that one call reason. It's a static call reason. You assign it to one number. Tomorrow, it'll become dynamic to the extent that whichever user you're calling, it'll get customized. The message gets customized, right? It takes in data from your systems and it'll customize the message. And along with their name, and maybe if they have a particular use case, it will create a message on its own in that particular use case. So we have AI that has completely taken over nowadays, and all these use cases are going to develop. We'll see that happening. Of course, with Truecaller as well, it's going to be there. And I mean, totally lot of innovative features that you'll be seeing, right?
Thank you for that, Gaurav. And my team has just shared two queries that they had received through Twitter marketing, and it is for Truecaller. So I'd be asking you those questions. First is that will verified business caller ID completely whitelist my numbers?
Yeah, so there won't be a complete whitelisting because we also have to take care of our Truecaller user community.
Right.
So what we do is we will assign the right identity, we will lock it, we'll make it tamper proof. If there is any problem with respect to spam that happens, so even if you're a verified business, it's not stopping you from calling the same users again and again and again. And that's where our analytics part comes in and makes you more intelligent, makes your calling more efficient, so that you're not calling the same set of people again via different numbers. Some person blocked you, right? Today as spam, let's say 100 people blocked you. And you have, let's say 100 numbers that you're calling from. So one number is blocked, right? This user doesn't want to listen from you, right? You're using your other 99 numbers to call that same person again. You're wasting a lot of time and money and resources. So that efficiency is going to be brought in. But yeah, then again, there will be a small red line that would appear on the verified badge if you cross the spam algorithm, which is which is different than what it is in the normal scenario. So yeah, that's also something which is I'll have to get into a lot of detail to explain how it actually works. But to answer your question in all earnestness, see, if you become a verified business, that is your only way out of spam right now. There is no other way.
I agree.
If you're facing a problem of spam with your numbers, become a verified business. It's definitely going to help you out. And as of now, there is no other solution which can help you as much as verified business.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. The other question is that can I use my personal numbers and verify them with the green badge?
No, sorry. So personal numbers are not allowed, only business phone numbers.
Okay. The next question is for you, Ankit, that what happens to my operator number if it gets marked as spam by users, and what can the person do next?
Sure. So two things. Number one, we generally encourage people to not really do that or do certain processes which will lead to your number get marked. See, ideally, your numbers get marked spam when people do not want to receive call, and people do not want to receive call when either the call is probably very uninteresting, not related, or something they want to block. So first thing you should always do is do not do too many unintentional calls, too many solicited calls, which will lead to spam. But in case you have a good volume, good volume of calls happening every day and your number gets spam, so we allow people to buy numbers on platforms. So you are able to purchase multiple numbers and use those numbers to make out calls. If certain number gets spam, you always can stop using that. But again, that comes with certain checks and balances, because again, as a company, we do not want people to be using our platform for spamming purposes. So we are here to protect in certain cases when there is like, okay, certain there was a huge number of calls and certain people marked you blocked, and you really want a solution out, we can. But if it's a regular thing, it's we see even a high spam scores through our methodologies. We do not allow people to use the system large. At the end, it's about building customers. So we do not
Of
want this to
course.
be looked at as a spam platform, even my operator.
Yes.
And
Right.
those are checks and balances we have in the system.
Thank you so much for answering that, Ankit. The next question is, and now you guys can also check the questions in the Q&A section. We have 4 more queries. The next query is that how do we get this plan? As in Truecaller service comes with the My Operator plan, or is it separate?
Sure. So, Truecaller definitely is separate, but we help you facilitate, the plan and connecting the plans. But both are separate plans, and you pay separately. Connect us after the call, and I'll help you get this.
Let me also like kind of rephrase what Ankit said. So see, for us, Truecaller is a very small team here, right? Where we have like total in all, I think there are around 300 employees in Truecaller across the globe, right? So if I just talk about the sales part, the people looking after the business, there wouldn't be a lot of people. So if you need that additional hand holding, need that extended support, you need things, more of a personal touch, I would definitely recommend. We have these partners right now with us, or Truecaller authorized partner. You can always ask for a certificate of authentication that they would be having, and you can ask that over an email. You can mark Truecaller reseller at truecaller.com just to validate if that's an authentic Truecaller partner or not. Post that, I would say definitely going via a partner would be a more intelligent choice, just because of the sort of hand holding that you can get, right? With regards to the entire onboarding process. So it's going to make things quite seamless for you, and also makes a lot of sense if you're already paying a certain fee to your CPaaS provider. If you're taking availing some services from them already, this Truecaller component will just get added as an additional line item to your existing bill of materials. So your operational efficiency would be maintained, right? It'll make it more efficient. So yeah, and flexible payment options, everything, lot of here and there flexibility you can get with the partner. So I would recommend going via a Truecaller partner, to go ahead with for these Truecaller services.
Okay. The next question is coming from Dhruvi. She's asking that there is a feature in Truecaller that we can put up the reason why we are calling. But in that case, Truecaller is allowing us to put just a single reason. While we call the reason for each particular while we call the reason for each particular person may be different. So how could you make it more dynamic for every call that's done?
Yeah. So I think I just spoke about this. This is in the pipeline. We are really working on this too. I'll give you three letter answer for it, which is API, right? Once API comes into the picture, and this is more of a management level call where they would like to open up their APIs for all the partners, and that's going to happen soon. Once that happens, everything is going to get automated, and there is going to be a lot of intelligence that these APIs would start deriving, not only from the Truecaller database, but also from partners like My Operators database, and then figure out what's the best the best solution to provide to a business to whatever problem they might be facing, even for problems they have not yet discovered, because we are at the forefront of this. So we'll be figuring out what's best for a business and coming up with innovations even before the business can think about these things. So yeah, what you're talking about right now, this has been in discussion. It's going to become more dynamic. It's in the pipeline. As of now, yeah, there is going to be a generic call reason that you'll assign to a particular department. Let's say if you're in sales, If you have like 10 numbers for sales, you assign one generic call reason for that. If you have another 10 numbers for customer care, another generic call reason for that. But yeah, but this is going to happen soon. This is going to happen tomorrow. It's a lot of exciting times ahead with respect to automation, intelligence, API, all those things coming soon.
Perfect, Gaurav. Thank you for that. The next question is coming in by Siddharth. Hello, can we get the recording of this section? Definitely, Siddharth. So within the next 24 to 48 hours, our team would be sharing the recording along with the additional details for both my operator and Truecaller over the registered email address. Thank you so much for checking in. The next query is, what can we do if my numbers are marked spam? Can it still be shown as verified?
It will be shown as verified, right? So the number would be verified. Only there would be a small red line that will appear. And just to quickly give you an idea of how it looks like, we are currently working with Punjab National Bank. Let me just, okay, we don't have that one here. Just second.
Sure. In the meantime, should we move to the next question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. But yeah, it's already, it's almost here now. So,
okay.
So yeah, this is how it appears. This is in a normal scenario. Entire screen would be red, completely red. Nobody picks these calls. You already know that. Once you become verified and you're still crossing the spam threshold, you're still being very insistent and calling customers again and again and again, barraging them, not being very efficient.
Right.
Only the small red line will appear. Your name doesn't get changed, nothing changes. Only the small red line appears. And this too, if you get in, consultation with our teams, you can, figure out the best way to avoid such situations.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And one more thing, with verified business, based on our customer experience, what we have seen is a 90%, 80 to 90% drop in spam markings once you become a verified business. So typically, user behavior is such that they will never, like 90% of people will not go ahead and mark verified businesses as spam, right? That's also another important point to note.
Okay.
Yeah.
And plus, if you just visually look at it, psychologically also, the entire red screen seems too daunting. So even if it was a legit call, just by seeing the color and the way it just pops straight in your eye, you might just go ahead and decline the call right away. Whereas it's quite subtle in the other side of it.
Human beings are conditioned that way, right? We always take red for danger, red for stop, like traffic lights, anything. Like, so red and green, it's a matter of, if you get into physics, it's about wavelength and frequency and those sorts of things.
Right. Which in marketing, we call the color psychology.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So of course, can't avoid it, right? We are humans at the end of the day. So
right. The next question is that, can we get a combined solution of both of these services?
Ankit?
Yep. So we definitely, and that's what we are here for. We love to do that. We love to encourage our customers to have a combined solution. Get my up to service, start calling customers, start communicating, start doing that customer service part of it, and get it verified through Truecaller. That's what the ultimate intent is.
Right. And now moving to the last question of the webinar. Is it possible to get a trial of my operator and Truecaller integrated services before opting for a paid subscription?
So unfortunately, no. We have validated the solution. The product market fit has been established. The solution is now pretty much out there. All leading businesses, enterprises use it. See, you can pay as little as 15,000 a month. Try it out on a few of your numbers. For a business, it's nothing, right? It's peanuts. If you really think about the sort of advantages that you're getting against it, it's not a big amount. You invest that money, try it out for a couple of months, see how it's going to impact your numbers. I'll just leave it out there. You can always look back at numbers, and we have businesses using this again and again, month on month, right? Quarter on quarter. They use it. They find a lot of benefit in it. They find a lot of value in it. hence, they continue coming back to us month on month. So, the proof lies in the pudding, and start using the solution. If you don't like it, then unsubscribe. But yeah, a free trial, although we would have loved to roll it out, but now it's not available, right? So you'll have to kind of try it out for yourself. But yeah, just make that investment. And credibility wise, we have all the large players, all the good enterprises which are using the solution. So rest assured, you're in safe hands. Okay, try it out and see for yourself.
Thank you, Gaurav. It was just amazing. And thank you, Ankit and Gaurav, for the wonderful session. It was truly insightful. And with this, we'd close this webinar. I hope you all really enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed planning it for you guys.